I'm John with AppliancePartsPros.com. Today we're going to be showing you how to repair your appliance. Remember that anytime you work on an appliance, make sure that it is unplugged or the circuit breaker is turned off so there's no chance of electrocution. We're going to show you how to install a new drain pump for your Frigidaire washer. It's a really easy job that only requires a Phillips head screwdriver, a 5/16 inch nut driver, a pair of pliers, a pair of needle nose pliers, and a few minutes of your time. When you open the package, you'll get one new drain pump. The reason why you'd be replacing the drain pump is if water's leaking out of the bottom of the machine, if the drum will not drain water, or if there's an unusual noise during use. The drain pump is located on the bottom of the washing machine behind this front panel. We're going to need to remove the front panel, but to do so we're going to have to start by removing this top panel. To do so, you're going to need to loosen and remove the two retaining screws. Use a Phillips head screwdriver to loosen and remove the two screws. Then, slide back the top panel, lift it up, and then you can remove it. You'll need to remove this dispenser assembly. To do so, pull it out until it stops, then press this button here, which will allow you to release it from the machine. With the detergent dispenser removed, you can now loosen and remove these two screws. We're now going to use the Phillips head screwdriver to loosen and remove these two screws that hold the top portion of this front control panel in place. You'll now need to lift up these three plastic tabs in order to take off the front control panel. So on this top edge, pull it up slightly, and it'll release it. And now we can roll this whole panel back. We're now going to need to open the front door, and we're going to take off the ring that holds the front edge of this door boot seal in place. Under the edge of this seal is a spring assembly. You're going to use a pair of needle nose pliers to grab on and pull it out and remove it from the front seal. Now, fold back the front edge of the seal to separate it from the body of the washing machine. Then, close the front door, tip back the washing machine, and then put a block of wood under it, which will allow us to gain access to the four retaining screws on the bottom side of the front panel. Use a Phillips head screwdriver to loosen and remove the four retaining screws. With the four bottom screws removed, now tilt back the washing machine and remove the block. Use a Phillips head screwdriver to loosen and remove the four screws that hold the top edge of the front panel in position. With the top screws removed, lift up slightly on the front panel and you can remove it. Now, being that there's all sorts of wires here that are connected, we don't want to disconnect those right now, so we're just going to set this aside. At the bottom of the washer machine, you're now going to need to remove these two hoses that connect to the drain pump. You might want to put down a rag to catch any water that comes out of the hoses. Use a pair of pliers to remove the hose clamp. Then, pull off the hose. Remove the other hose clamp, then remove the hose. Use a 5/16 inch nut driver to loosen and remove the two screws that hold the drain pump in place. Disconnect the wiring harness that goes to the drain pump. Afterwards, remove the drain pump. Here's the old drain pump next to the new one. If you already have the new part, great. If not, you can get it at AppliancePartsPros.com. Install the wiring harness that connects to the drain pump. Position the new drain pump. Then, using a 5/16 inch nut driver, thread in and tighten the 2 retaining screws. Reconnect the drain hose. Then reinstall the hose clamp. Reconnect the drain sump, then reinstall the hose clamp. With the new drain pump installed, we can now reinstall the front panel. We're going to align it with the 2 dowel pins, and then we can slide it down into place. Thread in and tighten the 4 screws that hold the top portion of the front panel in place. Now tilt back the machine again, insert the block of wood so we can have access to put in the 4 retaining screws. Now tip back the washing machine, remove the block, and set it back down on the floor. So once the top and bottom retaining screws are in place, now you can pull the door boot and line it up so we can put it in place. So on the back side of the door boot seal, there's a ridge that needs to go around this edge. So you got to pull it up and press it down over it and work it around. So as you go around, you're just going to be pressing it into position. Okay, so now it's in place, and you want to make sure that this molded in arrow on the door boot aligns with the arrow on the top and bottom. So there's 1 arrow for each, and ours looks good. So we're ready to put on the retaining clamp. So with this metal retainer, you're going to put it down in this ridge, and then you're going to go all the way around, making sure it goes into the ridge. And for the last part, there's a small spring here that you're going to need to stretch to get it to go into position. Okay, now that the door boot seal is in place, close the front door to make sure everything fits properly. And if so, then you can start reinstalling the top of the machine. You can now put this top control panel back in place. So drop it down, and you're going to align it so these go into their slots. And then with these top tabs, you're going to have to lift up on the edge to get it to go into place. And on the bottom, you're going to push until it clips into place. Then thread in the 2 retaining screws. Thread in and tighten the 2 Phillips head screws. Reinstall the detergent dispenser. Reinstall the top panel, set it in place, and you're going to slide it forward until this here clips into place. Thread in and tighten the 2 retaining screws. Now that the top panel is in place, then plug in the machine and you're done. Thanks for joining us for another successful repair brought to you by AppliancePartsPros.com. And be sure to check out our other repair videos on our website, on our Facebook page, and on our YouTube channel.